In this session, I will try to introduce our new QA department, which aims to help you to guarantee a high quality for your applications. So I will first explain why we are here, what are the services that we are able to provide to help you on validating and testing your applications, what are the products that we can test and validate, what are the deliverables that we can provide, etc. So first, let me introduce myself. I am Youssef Efelazreq, 4D Professional Services Manager in 4D Morocco. I think some of you were in my session this morning. We gave more details about the professional services, the different services that we can work on, development, migration, etc. So we all heard about quality assurance, quality control, testing. So what is the difference between all these concepts, and what does quality assurance really mean? So for that, we will see how the standards organizations are defining these concepts. So according to this reference, quality assurance is a model and a set of processes that aims to guarantee a high quality for your application. So it's covered the whole software development process, starting from the requirements analysis, software design, development, release management, etc. So it's focused on both validating the product, but also all the processes to make the product. And according to the same reference, testing is a manual or automatic process to check and validate a given property in the product. And quality control is a set of tests to validate all the product properties and the whole product. So in this schema, you can see the relation between quality assurance, quality control, and tests. So quality assurance, as I said, is to validate the product, but also the processes that makes the product, which includes quality control, focused only on validating the products and all its properties, which includes many tests, and each one of them will help us to check and validate a given property in the product. So why you should have a QA policy? The real question here is, do you really need a QA policy? Because maybe some developers can be overconfident and say, well, I'm a very good developer, my code is really clean, so I even don't need to test and validate it. Or maybe I don't have time for this. So to show the real importance about quality assurance, let's say what happens when you don't have quality assurance processes in your workflow development. So you as a developer or your development team are working on many features and developments, and of course you will have bugs in your development. And when you will deliver, but you can't find and detect all these bugs. So when you will deliver your product to the customer, maybe he will detect those bugs for you. And maybe there will be some important and blocking bugs. So he will send back the product to you to fix those bugs. And this will happen for each new feature and each new development. So this will lead to uncontrolled deadlines. And of course, then the customer will be unsatisfied. But if you have QA processes already included in your workflow development, of course, this will avoid you to have this kind of bugs in your development. And also, the testing phase will be included in the project schedule from the beginning. So this will lead you to meet your deadlines, also to have better resources management, and of course, finally, the customer will be satisfied. And I forget a thing here. You can do even better. For example, if you have many releases in your application, so you will have to make the tests regularly for each new version of your application. So here, we really recommend you to automate those tests. And these are some benefits of test automating. Of course, fast bug detection, because you will automatically detect all the bugs just by executing the automated tests. This will help you to save your company's brand image, reduce overall development, QA costs, reduce time to market, etc. So now I will introduce the services that we are able to provide to you to help you to guarantee a high quality for your applications. So first of all, you must know that there are two kinds of tests. You can have functional and non-functional tests. So functional testing is a QA process which bases its test cases on the functional requirements of the software under test. And non-functional testing is the fact of testing a software for its non-functional requirements. So you can have many kinds of functional tests. For example, integration tests. Here it's when you will have many modules and components on your application and you want to test and validate them as a group. So we will check and validate the interaction between all these modules. You can also have usability tests. Here is the fact of evaluating the product by its final users. So it's very helpful because it gives real feedback about the product. You can have also regression tests. Here it's when you have a developed and tested software, and you will be sure that it still works exactly as the same way as before after any change. So we will define some important scenarios that we will check and execute after each new development. You can also have acceptance tests. These are some critical and important scenarios defined by the customer that we will check and validate for him. We can also have many kinds of non-functional tests. For example, performance tests. It's the fact of evaluating the responsiveness and stability of your product under a particular workload. Also, you can have security tests. It's to detect the weaknesses of your application in terms of security, and also to be sure that it's protected from any intrusion. You can have also system tests to validate and check the interaction between your application and the hosting environment. And finally, you can have portability tests to be sure that your application can be transferred and moved from one environment to another without any problems. So now these are the services that we can provide to you around all these kind of tests. Of course, we can work on consulting services. Here we can have two cases. So if you already have test processes and tools, we will perform a complete inventory of what you have and maybe detect the weaknesses and propose some recommendations to improve it. But also we are able to propose a complete testing architecture that will meet your needs. We can also work on full cycle testing services for all functional and non-functional tests that I presented earlier. So here it's helpful when you want to validate your application at a given moment for one shot. But if you want to do this regularly, as I said, we can help you also on automating those tests. And this, of course, will help you to save costs and resources. And finally, we can work on continuous integration platforms for web and mobile applications to help you for a better management of your developments. So now what are the products that we can work on and test and validate for you? Of course, we can validate all kinds of web applications using HTML, CSS technologies, or even all kinds of JavaScript frameworks. Also mobile applications, If you are also exposing your code using some RESTful API, so we can also test and validate this for you. And regarding 4D desktop application, we are now improving our test platform to integrating different kinds of test automating. So as I said, we are now working on this, starting with automating end-to-end tests, which is interface testing. So as I said, the work is still in progress, but we are in the right way. And at the end of this session, I will show you a demo of what has been achieved until now. And we are also working on a test runner which will help us for a better management of integration and unit tests automation. Also, the quality of our deliverables is very important for us. So for that, we are following many standardized processes, QA processes. For example, for the test document templates that we are using, the packages that we deliver, and etc. So we are following many QA standardized processes. So what we deliver, before starting automating the tests, we will perform a feasibility study to be sure that those tests can be automated, and also to be sure that this will give you an added value in terms of quality of your application. And at the end of this, we will give you a document to show you the results. Also, we will provide to you codes documents to have an idea about the project codes, and also the estimated workload. We can also work on master test plan document, which contains all testing details for the whole application. And if your application is, if in your application there is many parts and modules, you will have a level test plan for each module and part of your application containing all the details of testing. We also provide a level test cases document, which contains the description of all testing scenarios. And also, we will give you some reports to show you the status of the test's execution. And also, if there are detected bugs, you will have documents to show you the management of those bugs. Also, we provide to you a level test procedure, which is a document explaining how to execute the automated tests, with also the test scripts and helpers, and many kinds of other documents for example, of continuous integration. So now I will show you a demo of, as I said, the achieved work regarding testing automation for three kinds of products. The first one is for a web-based application. So it's a test automated for downloading a 4D version from the 4D website. The second one will be for a mobile application. So it's a test automated for sending an email via the Gmail mobile app. And the third one will be for the desktop application. So let's launch the demo. So here is the code of, I don't know if you don't see it. Sorry. Okay. Okay. So maybe I will show this like this. Okay. So you can see here the code of our automated tests. So we will launch and execute our test that, as I said, will download 4D version from the 4D website. So it automatically launched the web browser, and you can see at the top that the Chrome browser is controlled by automated software test. Sorry, it's the French version of the website. So we go to the download part, and then we select the 4D version to download. Then we will fill some information and we will submit the request to download the 4D version. So this is the first one. Then the second one will be for mobile app. So as I said, the second one will be for a mobile app testing. So we will send an email using the Gmail mobile app. So first, we execute the tests. It will load all libraries and resources needed for the test. So maybe I will move a little bit forward to save time, because it takes a while. So you can see that the Gmail mobile app has been started. We select the account that we will use. We fill the information about the email, the recipient, object, and body of the message. So of course it just then we send the email, and the third one will be for desktop application. So again, we will launch our test. So it's a 4D desktop application. We have the form. We fill the information about customers. Validate documents. We can click on dialogues. We can print the document and open the folder to see what has been generated. Okay. So that's it. If you have for more information about all the services that we are able to provide, you can directly contact Najib, which is the QA department manager and testing our QA testing architecture. So he's our expert on this subject. And thanks for being here, and I'm here if you have other questions. Thank you.
Anybody have any questions?
Yeah.
Okay, what we saw there is, what did you use to do the test of the desktop application to create all those scripts?
Yeah, we use an internal plugin for the plugin, and if you want a test automation service, we'll use the same plugin. So it's an internal plugin developed by our team to automate for the desktop tests.
Okay, and if I can ask questions about that automation product then that you have?
The plugin?
Yes.
Itself?
Yes.
I don't know, maybe we can...
Well, just how it works more so. I'm just because this is something that's kind of my pet thing because it's so important, but it's so very, very hard to do, especially when you have a very large product that is required to grow and enhance constantly.
And just for information, using this plugin, we are dealing with objects in the form. So the test will work with any platform and using Mac, Windows. So it not takes the images of the because there is other tools that take images of the forms and the screen, and this creates some problems when you want to execute the test from different platforms. So this works, and I'm not an expert on this. So if you want more details, you can contact Najib and explain to you exactly how it works, maybe.
Okay, because I have lots of questions. Yes, thank you.
Other questions?
No more questions.
So thank you so much, and have a nice summit party.